This is going to be a really special video because this is the first video in a 1-week series that me and a few other fellow credit card or personal finance creators are putting on together. Those creators being Matt Welter, Anthony Venture, Eric Gao, CJ from CJ's Credit Cards and Personal Finance, and Stanley the Credit Frog. In this series, each of us is going to be covering our favorite credit cards in our wallet, and at the end of the series, you're going to be able to vote in a poll on both me and Stanley's channels, voting on which credit cards out of our choices are your favorite. So at the end of this week, make sure you check back on Stanley and I's community posts so you can actually vote in the poll yourself. And as y'all could tell from the title and thumbnail of this video, the credit card that I'm going to be talking about, which is my favorite credit card as of now, is the Chase Freedom Unlimited. Now the first reason that I love this card is because it really is a great way for beginners to get started in Chase's ecosystem. As many of y'all know, Chase is one of the most powerful banks and credit card lenders available. However, they're generally not the most accessible to get started with right away because they usually require you to have some previous credit history before being approved for one of their cards. But once you are a part of their ecosystem, just trust me, you're gonna love it. And from my personal experience, I actually got started with Chase by going into my local branch and talking with a banker to open a Chase college checking account and a savings account. And while I was there, I ended up talking to them about the Chase Freedom Student Credit Card because I was already in college, and up to that point, I had been using my debit card for everything. So I thought, what better time than now? And I didn't actually apply while I was in branch, but after a few months of having my checking and my savings account open, I applied online and was automatically approved. And this is probably the best thing that I ever did for my credit score, and I didn't even know it until much later. So if you do want to get started in Chase's ecosystem, but you don't have any previous credit history and know that you might not get approved for their cards, I would probably recommend doing a similar thing to me and getting started with a Chase checking and Chase savings account. And then after 3 or so months of using that and building up a little bit of trust with them, and even more trust if you actually talk to one of their bankers, and then I would apply for either the Chase Freedom Student Card if you're still in college, or one of their other Freedom branded cards like the Freedom Unlimited that we're talking about today, or the Freedom Flex. But if you'd rather not jump through all those hoops with Chase, then I just recommend getting another starter card like I talked about in this video, and then use that card for 6 to 12 months before you do apply for a Chase Freedom card. And obviously, if I had to choose, I would tell you to do the Chase Freedom Unlimited over the Freedom Flex, especially for your first Chase card. Not only is it just really good to get started with Chase's ecosystem, but if you do that early enough, you're going to be able to avoid that dreaded Chase 524 rule, which basically states that if you get 5 or more personal credit cards within 24 months, Chase will automatically deny you for another credit card. So I always recommend you get started with Chase as soon as possible so you can get as many of their cards as you want and then move on to other lenders when you don't have to worry about that 524 rule anymore. The second reason I love this card is because it can really be used in every single situation, so it makes it a pretty good one-card setup. And the reason for this is because it earns 5x on travel booked through Chase's Ultimate Rewards portal, it earns 3x on dining, 3x on drugstores, and 1.5% unlimited cash back on everything else. Hence the name, the Chase Freedom Unlimited. So the main selling point of this card is going to be that unlimited 1.5% cash back because those other earning categories are actually what the Chase Freedom Flex comes with, but that everything else category is only covered by 1% with the Freedom Flex in comparison to the 1.5% with the Chase Freedom Unlimited. But for those of you who are out there yelling at your screens, well, what about the 2% cards? Just hold on, there is a way to get more than 2% with the Chase Freedom Unlimited if you use it correctly. So as I said earlier, with those earning categories that we just talked about, this card can be used as a one-card setup because it covers some of the main spending categories that everybody has, specifically the dining category and that 1.5% back on everything else. Even though I have 5 personal credit cards of my own at this point, the Chase Freedom Unlimited comes out of my wallet most or second most out of my entire setup. And the reason for this is because that everything else category is really broad. If you've had a credit card before, you know that most of your purchases aren't going to fall neatly into one of those categories, so that everything else category can really add up. For example, if you like to shop at Target or go to the movies or shop on Amazon without the Amazon Prime card, and that means you're not spending in one of those main earning categories, so you're going to likely be getting 1% back with most credit cards out there, including on the Chase Freedom Flex like I talked about. But this is where the Chase Freedom Unlimited has got you covered because it gives you that 1.5% back on everything. So for me, I never really feel bad swiping this card when in doubt, and I just know that I'm going to get a minimum of 1.5%, which is better than what you can say for most other credit cards out there. Now the third reason that this card is so great is because it comes with all the stuff we've been talking about and more for no annual fee. And yes, I know a lot of cards come with this nowadays, but there also are a lot of annual fee cards that don't come with as many perks or earning categories as a Chase Freedom Flex, so you're not going to catch me complaining. But just the fact alone that it doesn't have an annual fee is not why I bring this point up. The real reason that this is so important is because assuming this is one of your earlier stage credit cards, this is going to be a card that you can keep open indefinitely, which is really important when building your credit score. And now you may be thinking, well, if I eventually get a card that earns more than 1.5% on everything else and earns higher than those other categories that we talked about previously, then why wouldn't I just cancel this card and get a new one? And the main reason for this is because that might actually hurt your credit score. That's because your credit score is made up of 5 different factors, that being your credit history, your credit utilization, your credit age, your credit mix, and the number of new accounts you have. So the first reason that closing your oldest cards are going to be bad for you is because you're going to be losing out on a large chunk of your credit history. However, if you do close your cards in good standing, then that credit history will stay and age on your account for up to 10 years, which is really good. But at the same time, we don't want to have to close these cards if we don't have to. But more importantly than that, even if you spend the exact same amount on all of your credit cards in total, if you do close one of your cards, you're actually going to be increasing your credit utilization pretty substantially. Because think about it, if you have 3 different credit cards, all with say a credit limit of $5,000, then your total credit limit would be $15,000. And now let's say that you spend $3,000 a month on those cards, that would be a 20% credit utilization on those cards, which isn't terrible. But now let's say you close that Chase Freedom Unlimited account, now your total credit limit is only going to be $10,000, meaning that even if you still spent that $3,000 on these 2 cards that you have now, your total credit utilization would be 30% now instead of 20%. So that's a 10% raise just because you cancel one of your cards. And of course, the credit bureaus aren't going to love if you have a higher utilization showing up on your credit report. So your credit score will drop from this, unless of course you completely opened a new card with even more credit on it, you lowered your spending like crazy, or you started paying your balances off early. But since you won't have to close it, this card is going to be able to age with your credit history and will become a firm foundation for your credit score to build on without ever worrying about having to pay any kind of annual fee every single year for holding the card. Now the fourth reason that the Chase Freedom Unlimited is one of my favorite cards is because the points that it earns, Chase's Ultimate Rewards points, are some of the most flexible points that you can use in the entire credit card space, and they're really easy to use. So for those of y'all who might have started with the Discover It card, for example, while this is an excellent card to get started with, there are only so many ways you can redeem your points. And usually those methods are either cashback or a gift card, unless you have another Discover card that might supplement that one. And that means that these Discover points can only be valued at 1 cent per point no matter how you redeem. And for those of you who love Amex cards, while they do offer a ton of different ways for you to be able to redeem your points, a lot of those redemption methods don't give you much value for your points, meaning that their point system might not be as flexible as you think. While you can get excellent value by transferring your points out to Amex's travel partners, if you wanted to redeem those points for cash back, you'd only be getting 0.6 cents per point, which is not really worth it at all. But for Chase's points, on the other hand, you should never have to redeem for less than 1 cent per point. And there are many different ways to do this. And not only that, but if you pair it up with one of Chase's Sapphire branded cards, you can transfer those points out to travel partners and get 2, 5, or 10 times the value for your points. And on the cashback side of things, you can get 1 cent per point in cashback for each one of your Chase Ultimate Rewards points, meaning if you had 100,000 points, you could direct deposit $1,000 into your bank account. So this means that no matter what season of life you're in, either traveling a lot and wanting to use your points for that, or wanting to redeem it for cashback and just put some money away in your bank account, then Chase's Ultimate Rewards points are going to be flexible with you. And the amount of ways that you can redeem Chase's Ultimate Rewards points don't just stop at cashback or transferring out to travel partners. For example, you can redeem them for select dining purchases, gift cards, shopping online through platforms like Amazon. You can use their pay yourself back feature, or you could actually book travel through the Chase Ultimate Rewards portal, on top of being able to transfer out to travel partners or redeem for cashback. Now that's a lot of different ways to redeem, but some of those are going to give you more value than others. So I recommend that you always try to get at least 1 cent per point. If you see anything lower than that, then I would just ignore it. But for me, I value all of my Chase points at 2 cents per point. And how do I do that, you may ask? And that leads me into the fifth reason that I love this credit card, and that's because it can be used in a combination with other Chase cards to get you a ton of value. Now this kind of ties back to the beginning of the video where I was talking about Chase's ecosystem and how powerful it can be. And in practice, this card gels really well with all of Chase's Ultimate Rewards earning credit cards, like the Freedom Student, the Freedom Flex, the Sapphire Preferred, Sapphire Reserve, or the Chase Ink business line of cards. And the reason that it does gel so well is because you can take all of your points from any Chase credit card that you have, earning Ultimate Rewards points, and combine them all onto your highest tier credit card, and then use those to redeem your points at higher value. However, those higher tier cards are going to come with an annual fee. The Chase Sapphire Preferred having a $95 annual fee, the same thing for the Chase Ink Preferred, and the Chase Sapphire Reserve has a $550 annual fee. But even if you had just one of these cards, you're going to be able to reap all the benefits that we're going to talk about for the rest of the video. Now, how do those cards actually give you more value? Now, I do go into a lot of depth in this video here if you want to watch that after, but in summary, let's just say that you have one of the Chase Preferred cards, and in this case, we'll go with the Chase Sapphire Preferred. So now what you're going to do is take all the points you've earned from your Chase Freedom Flex, your Chase Freedom Unlimited, and combine them all onto your Chase Sapphire Preferred through Chase's website or their app. And now that they're all on your Chase Sapphire Preferred, you actually have the ability to redeem through Chase's Ultimate Rewards portal at 1.25 times the value, making that redemption value 1.25 cents per point. So if you had 20,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points, that would normally be $200 worth of cash back, but if you book travel through the Chase's Ultimate Rewards portal, that would be $250 worth of travel. And if you were to combine it with the Chase Sapphire Reserve that I talked about earlier with that hefty $550 annual fee, you could actually get 1.5 times the value for your points, making those 20,000 points worth $300. So if you do have a ton of Chase points, these multipliers alone could give you a ton of value that you'd be leaving on the table otherwise. However, the most powerful thing about these annual fee Chase cards is that they grant you the ability to transfer your points out to Chase's travel partners like Hyatt or United, for example. And if you're to do that, then you can actually value your points at least 2 cents per point when redeeming it through that method. If you want to see how to do that, I did actually go through a full example in that video I linked earlier, but the moral of the story is if you like to travel in style, especially if you're traveling internationally and on business or first class flights, then you can even get upwards of 10 times the value for your points if you book it in the right way. Now, this is what makes the credit card game fun to me. I don't know about you. There are so many reasons that I love the Chase Freedom Unlimited, and I hope I've convinced you to give it a shot through this video. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I'm just the first leg out of 6 fellow creators that are making a video about their favorite credit cards. I'm gonna go ahead and put the ball in Matt Welter's court, where he's gonna talk about his favorite credit card over on his channel, and his video is gonna launch tomorrow, so make sure to check that out. If you like this video and want to learn more about the power of what we call the Chase Trifecta, or 3 Chase credit cards, then go ahead and check out this video here. If you'd like to see a side-by-side comparison of the Chase Freedom Unlimited versus its brother, the Chase Freedom Flex, then go ahead and check out this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving me a like and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.